a new writer who sits down and he looks at the tropes of a genre like the thriller. And he thinks it's got to be a page turner, and he thinks it's got to be, lots of action and fast paced and all that kind of stuff. And then when he gets all done with it, he wonders why it doesn't sell to a publisher or whatever. And that's because there's no heart to the story. Every crime novel, every thriller, whatever it is that you want to write, as far as I'm concerned, comes from character. And those characters have to be real. Again, they have a whole book called The Defective Detective. It's a reference book about all these private investigators. We've got one with one eye, one with one arm, one with, all of those gimmicks that people give thinking they're making their characters different. And all they're really doing is surface stuff. For me, the motivations for the thrills, the complexity of the novel comes from true characters, from making them almost human. For me, the two characters in my latest book, Lie Catchers, which is the first book that I've done with an interrogation background, I would spot them if I was walking down the street. Because they're so real in my mind, and the way they talk, the way they act. They're not me, but they're complex, fallible people who make some of the same mistakes that we do. And it's those mistakes and those foibles that make that story interesting.
Paul's absolutely right. I've jotted down notes of what I felt were the three most important things in creating tension and suspense, and they were character, character, and character. If your reader doesn't care about your characters, they're not going to care. You could do the worst things in the world to them, you could put them in the most precarious situations, and they're not going to care unless they care about the character. So that comes first. If you want to scare them, you've got to make them care. And you've got to make them real. There's no point in being one-dimensional. They're not going to care about them. So you have to make them as real as possible. Your book, it all goes from there. If you get your characters right, you'll get the rest of the book right as well.